I'll show you what I mean. Okay, for example, big ends in a vowel followed by a consonant, right? So we have first the vowel, then the consonant. In a one-syllable word, so we have to double the consonant before adding ER. So big becomes bigger. So we double the consonant. Another example is hot. Again, we have a one-syllable adjective that ends in a vowel followed by a consonant. So hot becomes hotter with two T's in the comparative form. So we double the consonant. And we also have fat. Again, it's a one-syllable adjective. We have a vowel followed by the consonant. So fat becomes fatter with two T's, a double consonant before the ER. So let's repeat. Big with two G's, bigger. Hot, double the consonant, hotter. Fat, double the T, fatter. All right, now let's practice. Alberto, are you bigger than your father?
Yes, I am. I am bigger than my father. Many Italian men are short.
Good, Alberto. Can you spell bigger for us?
Sure. B-I-G-G-E-N-R. Bigger.
Very good, Alberto. Sylvia, are you thinner than your brother?
Yes, I am thinner than my brother. He's fatter than me.
Good, Sylvia. Can you spell thinner, please?
Okay. T-H-I-N-N-E-R. Thinner.
Very good, Sylvia. Linda, is Germany hotter than Spain?
No, Germany is not hotter than Spain. Spain is hotter.
Good. Okay, can you please spell hotter?
Okay. H-O-T-T-E-R. Hotter.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, there are also two irregular forms of the comparative. Okay? Please follow along on your screen. First of all, good becomes better in the comparative form. It does not become gooder. It's always better. Second example, bad becomes worse in the comparative form. It does not become badder. It's worse. Take a look at some examples. The weather today is better than yesterday. Next example. He isn't a better football player than his brother. Another example. My score was worse than my brother's score on the test. Next example. I feel worse today than I felt yesterday. Okay, now let's practice these new comparative forms. Sylvia, are you a worse chess player than your brother?
No, I'm a better player than my brother. He's not good.
Oh, okay. Linda, are you a better cook than your mother?
Of course not. She is a better cook than me. She makes wonderful Spanish rice.
I bet she does. Good. Alberto, are you a better football player than your father?
I am a bad player, and my father is a very bad player. I think he is a worse player than me.
Okay, thanks everyone. Now, don't go away. It's better to look and listen.
Look and listen.
Paul is tall. Jim is short. Paul is taller than Jim. Jim is short. Paul is tall. Jim is shorter than Paul. Vera is thin. Edgar is fat. Vera is thinner than Edgar. Edgar is fat. Vera is thin. Edgar is fatter than Vera.
Read and repeat.
So we have learned how to make comparatives with one-syllable adjectives, and we have also learned how to use comparatives with irregular one-syllable adjectives. Now it's time to learn how to use comparatives with two or more syllable adjectives. For this, we need to add more in front of the comparative. Take a look at these examples. She is more beautiful than her sister. Next example. Baseball is a more difficult sport to play than football. Another example. My father is more hardworking than my uncle. So you see, in these sentences, more comes before the adjective in comparisons with two or more syllables. Okay, now let's practice. Sylvia, are apples more delicious than oranges?
I don't think so. Oranges are more delicious than apples. They are good for energy. I always eat 2 oranges before a football match.
Great, Sylvia. Alberto, is English more important than German?
Yes, English is more important than German. I speak Italian. I want to speak English.
Very good, Alberto. Linda, is tennis more difficult to play than volleyball?
Yes, tennis is more difficult to play than volleyball. Tennis is very popular in Spain.
All right, thank you, everyone. Now it's better to look and listen.
Look and listen.
Tennis is more difficult than volleyball. English is more important than German. You are more beautiful than my sister. My brother is more handsome than you.
Read and repeat.
Now we understand how to use more with adjectives of 2 or more syllables. So now we need to talk about less. Okay? Less can also be used in comparative adjectives of 2 or more syllables. And less is the opposite of more. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. Please follow along. John is hardworking, but Peter is lazy. Peter is less hardworking than John. Next example. Boxing is interesting, but golf is boring. So, golf is less interesting than boxing. Another example. A football is expensive. A baseball is cheap. A baseball is less expensive than a football. Another example. English is difficult, but Spanish is easy. So Spanish is less difficult than English. All right, now let's practice, and we'll use less in the comparative form. Alberto, is your shirt more expensive than your shoes?
No, my shirt is less expensive than my shoes. My shoes are Italian. They are very expensive.
Okay, very good, Alberto. Sylvia, is a bicycle more dangerous than a motorcycle?
I don't think so. A bicycle is less dangerous than a motorcycle.
Excellent. Linda, are you more intelligent than Sylvia?
I don't know. I think I'm less intelligent than Sylvia. She is more intelligent than me. She is very clever.
Well, I think you are both intelligent. In fact, all of you are intelligent. Okay, now it's time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
That player is less intelligent than this player. Your football team is less successful than my football team. That film is less interesting than this film. This director is less important than that director.
Read and repeat. Review.
Now let's review what we've studied today. First, we learned to use comparatives to talk about two people or two things. We learned that syllables are parts of words. We learned that than follows the comparative adjective. And for one-syllable adjectives, we learned to add ER. Take a look at some examples. Istanbul is colder than Antalya in the winter. Ed's brother is stronger than my brother. Another example. Hawaii is nicer than New York. Another example. My grandfather is older than your grandfather. We also learned that there are special spellings for some one-syllable comparative adjectives. Take a look at these examples. Mike is fatter than his brother. Double the T. Shaquille O'Neal is bigger than Kobe Bryant. Double the G. We also learned that in the comparative form, good becomes better, not gooder. We also learned that bad does not become badder, it becomes worse. Take a look at the examples. I am better at bowling than my mother. Georgiana is worse than Angelica at backgammon. And we learned that we use more or less before two or more syllable comparative adjectives. Okay, look at these examples. This movie is more interesting than that movie. Next example. This match is less exciting than that match. There is one more thing that we should learn. We need to learn that for two or more syllable adjectives that end in Y, in the comparative adjective form, we must drop the Y and add I, E, R instead of the Y. Here are some examples. So pretty, which ends in Y, in its comparative form becomes prettier, no Y, I-E-R. My aunt is prettier than your aunt. Another example. Busy, in its comparative form, becomes busier. So instead of Y, we add I-E-R. My father is busier at his new job than he was at his old job. Another example. Tidy becomes tidier in its comparative form. So we change the Y and add I-E-R. Sam's bedroom is tidier than his brother's. Okay, now let's practice some more. Linda, is your sister prettier than you?
She is sometimes prettier than me. When we go to bullfights, she is always very beautiful.
Thank you, Linda. Sylvia, is your room tidier than your brother's?
No, his room is tidier than my room. My room is dirty.
Oh, can you spell tidier, Sylvia?
Sure. T-I-D-I-E-R. Tidier.
Great. Alberto, are you friendlier than your cousin?
I think so. I am friendlier than my cousin. She is sometimes angry. I am always happy.
Oh, that's good. Will you spell friendlier for us, Alberto?
F-R-I-E-N-D-L-I-E-R. Friendlier.
All right, good, Alberto. Now, of course, friendly is an adjective. However, it's a little special because it has two forms of the comparative. We can say friendlier, or we can say more friendly. Okay, are you more friendly than your brother, Sylvia?
I am more friendly than my brother. Are there any different adjectives like friendly?
Yes, there are. Students, you know the word angry. Linda, you and your sister lost the tennis match yesterday. Who was angrier?
She was angrier than me. She was more angry. She plays tennis to win. I played for fun.
All right, great job, everyone. Thank you. Now it's time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
Mark is more handsome than Alvin. Alvin is less handsome than Mark. This street is noisier than that street. That street is less noisy than this street.
Read and repeat.
Now let's look at a chart to help you remember the comparative forms ER, IER, and more. Take a look at your screen. Val is 25 years old. Liz is 20 years old. So Val is older than Liz. Notice, when we use adjectives to talk about two people or things, the adjectives have special forms. So in the sentences, we add ER to an adjective. Here are some more examples. Health is very important. Money is important.